This was the New York Rippers.
The New York Ripper is the most chilling killer in Dexter Resurrection, and nobody knows who it is, yet. From shadowy billionaires to long-forgotten faces from Dexter's past, the theories are explosive, and one of them might just be true. So, who's really behind the Ripper's 22 gruesome murders? Let's break down every clue, every suspect, and the shocking twists that could change the show forever. Before we dive into the suspects, here's what we know. The New York Ripper was a mysterious serial killer who terrorized New York City, leaving at least 22 confirmed victims. Their weapon of choice, a brutal manhole cover hook, the very same one now sitting in Leon Prater's trophy collection. Prater grew up on those same streets during the height of the killings, while Detective Claudette Wallace spent years obsessively trying and failing to catch the Ripper. Bautista's been looped into the story too, suggesting the writers are setting up something big. If revealed, the Ripper's identity could be one of the most shocking twists in Dexter history. Theory 1. Leon Prater is the Ripper. Leon Prater isn't your average side character. By day, he's a billionaire philanthropist throwing charity events for the NYPD. By night, he's hosting unsettling dinner parties with actual serial killers at the table. There are red flags everywhere. He talks about the Ripper with a strange pride, almost like he's boasting about his own work. He owns the Ripper's murder weapon. He grew up in the exact neighborhoods where the killings happened. His traumatic backstory, losing both parents in a car crash, fits the classic Dexter villain mold. If he's the Ripper, those dinner parties aren't just social experiments. They're research missions. He could be studying his competition, learning their methods, and staying one step ahead of the law. And with his money and influence, he could erase witnesses, manipulate investigations, and operate completely untouchable. He'd be Dexter's ultimate adversary, wealthy, respected, and lethal. But this twist risks feeling recycled. Dexter has done the respected public figure is secretly a killer reveal before, and logistically, pulling off 22 murders as a celebrity billionaire without being noticed would be almost impossible. There's also the matter of his height. Using a heavy manhole cover hook effectively would be physically challenging. Still, he's the most narratively supported suspect. Theory 2. Detective Melvin Olivia or Charlie Brown. Two long-shot candidates, but worth mentioning. Detective Melvin Olivia knows every police procedure in the book. Quiet and reserved, he could be hiding in plain sight. He'd know exactly how to avoid capture and stay a step ahead of Claudette's investigation. Charlie, on the other hand, has special ops training, a Harvard law degree, and deep access to Prater's operation. Her disgust for the dinner party killers could actually be a front, a way to make herself look morally superior while eliminating the competition. The problem? Neither has enough backstory or screen time for such a massive twist. Without proper setup, it would feel cheap and unearned. Theory 3. Jonah Mitchell returns. Now this is where things get spicy. Jonah is the son of Arthur Mitchell, the infamous Trinity Killer. We know he's capable of violence after murdering his own mother in Nebraska. And during season 6, he was seen using a hook-like tool at a hardware store, eerily similar to the Ripper's weapon. The generational trauma angle fits Dexter's universe perfectly. Like father, like son, the idea of Jonah evolving into the Ripper years later is compelling. But here's the catch. In Season 8, Oliver Saxon's files hinted that Jonah might already be dead. Plus, the timeline doesn't work. The Ripper was active when Prater was a child, long before Jonah would have been old enough to kill. Without a massive retcon, this theory falls apart. Theory 4. Blessing Kamar. This one would be the most shocking twist of all. Blessing is the kind-hearted UCAR driver with a tragic past. Once a child soldier in Sierra Leone, rescued by his mother at 13, and now a devoted family man. He's open with Dexter about his darkness, even admitting to killing someone as a child. Some fans see that openness as suspicious. Maybe it's his way of testing Dexter, recognizing a shared darkness. But the timeline is messy. The Ripper's spree began decades ago when Blessing was either still in Sierra Leone or newly arrived in the US. And his decades of stability, love for his family, and consistent behavior make it incredibly unlikely he's been a secret serial killer all along. Here's where things get interesting. Of all the suspects, Leon Prater is the most narratively set up to be the New York Ripper. His connection to the murders, his resources, and his ability to move between elite society and the criminal underworld make him the perfect match. But there's a very real chance we won't get an answer this season. Think about it. The Ripper storyline could be the writer's long game. Introduce them now, build the mystery, and keep the identity hidden until Season 2 or even Season 3. That way, the Ripper could serve as the overarching villain, giving the writers time to fully develop the reveal. If they rush it now, they risk a twist that feels undercooked. But if they wait, it could be one of the most satisfying payoffs in Dexter's history. My opinion, if they do reveal the Ripper this season, it'll be Prater. Everyone else either has timeline issues, weak setup, or character arcs that would collapse under the twist. But holding off might make the eventual reveal even bigger. So, who do you think the New York Ripper is? Is it someone hiding in plain sight, or will the writers hit us with a completely unexpected face? Drop your wildest theory in the comments. And if you're still watching, type Dexter NYR ? So I know you made it to the end.
Now, number 1 in the FBI serial killer list.
The surviving Gemini killer has just uncovered the truth. Dexter Morgan is the Bay Harbor Butcher. This isn't just another killer looking to make a name for himself. This is the most intelligent, methodical, and dangerous adversary Dexter has ever faced. One who doesn't just want to kill, he wants to outsmart. And now, with a personal vendetta and a genius-level intellect, the hunter may finally become the hunted. But how did the Gemini killer figure it out? And more importantly, what will he do with this knowledge? The answers could completely reshape the endgame of Dexter Resurrection. From the moment Garrett, the first twin, stepped into Leon Prater's elite gathering of killers, something felt different. While others in the room treated the dinner like a twisted social club, Garrett stayed quiet, watchful, dissecting every movement and word from Red, Dexter's alias. Garrett wasn't just another predator. He had a method, a ritual, a signature that baffled law enforcement for years, targeting victims in pairs, arranging their bodies in mirrored positions, their heads touching. 32 confirmed kills, and the FBI still couldn't catch him. The method doubled his body count while hiding his true numbers, a display of both artistry and operational brilliance. And his intelligence was as deadly as his knife. Top of his class, top Mensa, top of the FBI's most wanted list, the kind of mind that notices the smallest inconsistency and never lets it go. Episode 6 set the trap. Dexter followed Garrett through the city streets, watching him slip into a bookstore, a strange move for a man like him, until Garrett placed a bookmark with 8 p.m. scrawled across it inside a book on serial killers. It was odd. It was deliberate, and Dexter, as careful as ever, didn't yet understand its meaning. But Garrett was already steps ahead. Instead of being prey, he became the predator. He tailed Dexter all the way home and confronted him in his own apartment. The tension was thick enough to cut with a blade. Garrett dismissed the Zodiac killer as an amateur, ranked Red as second best in some imagined hierarchy of murderers, and spoke with almost surgical precision about his philosophy, the beauty of killing in pairs. It was ego mixed with intellect, and it was dangerous. But even geniuses make mistakes. While Garrett talked, Dexter acted, slipping something into his drink and preparing to strike. In moments, the hunter became the hunted, another body removed from society under Harry's code. At least, that's what Dexter thought, because at the helicopter pad later that night, Prater's surviving killers gathered. A car pulled up, and out stepped the exact same man Dexter had just killed. Same face, same mannerisms, same unsettling stare. The truth hit hard. Gemini wasn't one man. It was two. Identical twins. Perfectly coordinated, perfectly disguised as a single killer. The symbol had been there all along. Gemini, the twins, hiding in plain sight. This changed everything. Two people functioning as one identity means an unbreakable psychological bond. If one was suspicious of Dexter during that dinner party, the other would have been too. If one vanished after meeting him, the other would immediately connect the dots. That 8 p.m. note in the bookstore. Not a clue for Dexter at all. It was a coded message for his brother, a way to synchronize their movements without ever breaking cover. The operational security here is terrifying. We're talking about a two-person intelligence unit, shared observations, mutual alibis, a constant stream of updates about everyone they meet. That's why the surviving twin, now armed with suspicion and motive, will inevitably realize who Dexter truly is. So, what happens when he does? There are 3 possible paths, and every single one is bad news for Dexter and Harrison. First possibility, he tells Leon Prater. The twins have always shown loyalty to their benefactor. At that dinner party, Garrett was quick to suggest eliminating loose ends for Prater's protection. If the surviving twin believes Dexter killed his brother and orchestrated Mia Lapierre's death, his first move might be to warn Prater that a legendary serial killer has infiltrated his circle. Prater's reaction could go one of 2 ways. He could see Dexter as a threat that must be destroyed, unleashing his resources, private security, FBI connections, and a near-limitless budget to erase him. Or he could see Dexter as the ultimate prize. Remember, Prater is obsessed with serial killer memorabilia. Knowing the Bay Harbor butcher sat at his table could make him want to capture and study Dexter instead. And that's a fate possibly worse than death. Second possibility, personal revenge. The Gemini killer's whole philosophy revolves around pairs. What better way to avenge his brother and prove his superiority than to kill Dexter and Harrison together? That puts Harrison in serious danger. He's been trying to live a normal life in New York, working at the hotel, getting close to Elsa and her son. But if the twin comes for them, Harrison will be dragged back into the darkness he's been running from. And here's the twisted irony. If Harrison is forced to kill again to survive, it might push him over the edge, into the very life Dexter's been trying to keep him from. Third possibility, the twin accidentally helps the police. Detective Wallace and Angel Batista are already closing in, building a case against Dexter and tying Harrison to Ryan Foster's murder. If the twin makes a move, whether in revenge or by striking an uneasy deal, he could give Batista the exact evidence he's been searching for. Now imagine all 3 scenarios happening at once. Prater's power, a genius killer seeking revenge, the police closing in. That's not just danger, that's a no-win situation. And in the middle of it all, Harrison, one move away from either becoming a killer or losing everything. The Gemini twist isn't just a plot device, it's the writers loading a gun and aiming it at every part of Dexter's world. And if you think the Gemini killer will be the one to finally take down Dexter, drop Dexter Hunted in the comments.
As you may know, we have a serial killer who's taking out rideshare drivers.
Blessing seems like the nicest guy in Dexter. Resurrection, a humble rideshare driver, a generous host, a proud father. But what if that's exactly the point? What if this friendly face is actually hiding one of the darkest secrets in the entire series? Because more and more fans believe Blessing might secretly be the New York Ripper. And disturbingly, it all adds up. When Dexter Resurrection introduced us to Blessing Kamar, he seemed like the least suspicious person in the room. A warm smile, helpful nature, strong family values. He picks up Dexter in a rideshare, offers him a place to crash, even gives advice like an old friend. At first glance, he looks like a harmless supporting character, but that's exactly what makes him dangerous. Because in a show like Dexter, characters who feel too good to be true usually are. In fact, Blessing's calm, generous energy reminds fans of Brother Sam, the deeply spiritual mechanic who tried to lead Dexter toward redemption in Season 6. But unlike Sam, who openly confessed his violent past, Blessing has no darkness, no flaws, no baggage. And in the world of Dexter, that's a red flag. Because nobody, absolutely nobody, is that clean. Here's where it gets strange. Blessing isn't just some background character. He's the one who first mentions the dark passenger killer. He's the one who introduces Dexter to Leon Prater. He's the one who conveniently shows up at every critical turning point in Dexter's new life. It's like he's not just part of the story, he's steering it. Now let's talk about the Ripper. The New York Ripper is one of the most disturbing figures in the new series, a shadowy serial killer who's never been caught. His signature, a hooked knife that leaves a grotesque and unforgettable mark. Detective Claudette Wallace is obsessed with solving the case, but nobody else seems to care. And this is where things start to click, because the way Blessing talks about the Ripper is strange. He's the one who puts the case on Dexter's radar. He's the one who leads him to Prater, a man some believe might be the Ripper. But here's the thing, There's no proof Prater ever met the Ripper. What if Prater was a red herring? What if the real Ripper has been standing next to Dexter this whole time? Think about it. Blessing brings Dexter into the case, points him at someone else, gains his trust, and does all this while hiding in plain sight, just like the Ripper has always done. Now let's address the elephant in the room, the timeline. Prater says the Ripper terrorized his neighborhood when he was a kid. If Blessing is about the same age, that would make him too young to be the Ripper, right? Not necessarily. The show never confirms exact dates. What if the Ripper did go dormant? What if he paused, raised a family, and then re-emerged when something triggered him? Something like the return of Dexter Morgan. And here's what really sends chills down your spine. Blessing's behavior. His close friend Shike is attacked, other drivers are killed, but Blessing stays calm. Too calm. Maybe that's resilience. Or maybe it's the absence of empathy, which, as fans know, is textbook serial killer behavior. He doesn't just know about the Ripper case, he's inserting himself into it. And more importantly, he's inserting Dexter into it, like he's baiting him, testing him, playing a game. What if Blessing isn't helping Dexter? What if he's hunting him? Let's say the theory is true. Let's say Blessing really is the Ripper. That changes everything, because now we're looking at a man who built a fake life. A father, a husband, a friendly driver, all of it, a cover for something monstrous underneath. We've seen this before. Trinity was a church-going family man with a dark side that could shatter glass. The ponytail killer had a normal home life while casually chatting at Prater's dinner parties. Evil doesn't always wear a mask. Sometimes it wears a smile, and that's what makes Blessing so dangerous. He's hiding behind kindness, hiding in broad daylight, and the only person who might be able to see through the act is Dexter. There's a scene coming up that fans are already buzzing about. A gathering, a dinner, a moment where Dexter, Blessing, and Prater all sit at the same table. What if that's the reveal? What if that's when Dexter realizes he's not sharing bread with a friend? He's sharing it with a predator. Will they team up? Will they turn on each other? Or will Dexter finally realize the most dangerous killer in New York has been riding shotgun all along? Here's the craziest part. Everything Blessing has done could be seen as kindness or manipulation. Every gesture could be sincere or strategic. That's why this theory is catching fire. Not because it's shocking, but because it's plausible. And that's exactly how Dexter always gets us, by hiding the villain where we'd least expect. So what do you think? Is Blessing just a good guy in a dark world, or the monster hiding beneath it? Let us know in the comments. And if you're still watching, drop Ripper Blessing to show you're one of the real ones digging into the truth. Hit that like button, subscribe, and get ready, because the darkest reveal might still be coming. Trinity changed Dexter forever, but the Gemini killer might break him. This isn't just another villain. Fans believe Gareth, the Gemini killer, might go down as the most disturbing and psychologically complex enemy Dexter has ever faced. But what makes him so dangerous? And how could he outdo someone like Trinity, who left Rita dead in a bathtub? Let's start with the man behind the madness, David Dastmalchian. If you've seen Prisoners or Late Night with the Devil, you already know this guy doesn't play creepy. He is creepy, and that's a compliment. There's something about his presence on screen that makes your skin crawl in the best way possible. Some fans say he looks like a Batman villain. Others say Marilyn Manson. But what everyone agrees on is this: David brings a type of darkness to his characters that feels unsettling and dangerously real. And that's exactly what makes Gareth such a terrifying threat. Now let's talk Trinity. Yes, Arthur Mitchell killed Rita. Yes, it was devastating. But let's be honest. Dexter let him in. He admired Trinity. He saw a mentor, a man who could balance murder and family life. Dexter got too close and paid the price. But Gareth, there's no admiration here, no curiosity, just danger. According to a bombshell article from Dexter Daily, David hinted that the Gemini killer has a secret power, something that will make Dexter's life incredibly difficult. His words, not ours. So what does that mean? What kind of power could possibly shake Dexter to his core? Some fans think it's supernatural. Others believe Gareth is actually a version of Doctor. Denko from the original Dexter novels, a character known for brutal twists and psychological dominance. And David didn't help calm the speculation. He straight up said, once fans understand what's going on, it might blow their minds. Think Fight Club levels of shock, multiple personalities, reality-bending secrets, hidden identities. Whatever it is, we've never seen anything like this in the Dexter universe. Because here's the truth, past villains were smart, calculated, dangerous. But Gareth feels like something bigger, something inevitable, something Dexter can't just stalk and stab in a kill room. He might not just challenge Dexter, he might own him. And that's where the stakes get scary. What if this secret power isn't just metaphorical? What if Gareth controls someone close to Dexter? What if he's already embedded inside Dexter's world, pulling strings without us even realizing it? Or what if he knows who Dexter really is? If Gareth turns out to be the kind of villain who stays one step ahead, who manipulates everyone around him like chess pieces, who doesn't just want to kill Dexter but wants to break him, then we're not dealing with a serial killer. We're dealing with something entirely new. That's what makes Gareth so fascinating. He's not just physically dangerous, he's psychologically invasive, the kind of enemy who forces Dexter to question everything, his past, his code, his future, all of it. And that's why he might outdo Trinity. Not because he kills more, but because he gets closer, because he plays dirtier, because he doesn't just attack Dexter's life, he attacks Dexter's identity. If that's the direction this series takes, we might be witnessing the rise of the most unforgettable villain Dexter has ever faced. So what do you think? Will the Gemini killer outshine Trinity? Or will he become just another name on Dexter's table? Drop your wildest theory in the comments. And if you're still watching, comment Dexter vs Gemini, so we know you're one of the real ones ready for the chaos. Because something tells us Dexter isn't ready for what's coming.